Welcome all, this is Raymond for Stream Gamers. Today we're going to do a video that's going to update my previous video on how to do a simple airport. I made one in 2021 and the SDK has changed and I use a different system, or I use a different process in which to create airports. So I think it's a little easier to do it. So anyways, and the other thing is if you have an airport that you know of is in the real world but is not in the sim, well, that's what we're going to tackle today. We're also going to put that airport into the sim. Now, we do that by, here is the airport, airstrip that we want to use. That is a little Nav Map, so we'll be using a little Nav Map. And we will also be using this website called ourairports.com. And that place that we want to make is right here. This one here with the X on it is what we want. So we click on that, it loads it up. So this is the airport. It is closed. It does have an ICO code. When we search that ICO code in little Nav Map and or in 2020, that ICO code does not come up. So it's not there. We're going to create it. We're going to put it in there. Now, let's get to that. First thing we got to do is we got to open up the developers mode. So we click on options, general, developers, we turn that on, we apply, back, and we're here. Now our next step that we're going to do is we're going to go in and we're going to put the aircraft on ground in that airport area or that airstrip area that we want to create. I happen to know there's an airstrip which is close to that, which is CYVL, and that airstrip that we want to create is right there. You can almost see remnants of the runway. So we're going to click there and we're going to set our departure for that particular spot. Hit fly. Once the ready to fly now button lights up, we're going to have the Y key ready, and we're going to click the ready to fly, and we're going to hit the Y key. The Y key is a slew key, meaning it's kind of hold the aircraft in that position, in which we're going to have the ability to lower it back down to the ground, because we're starting this in the air about 1,500 feet off the ground. So we want to put the aircraft down on the ground in this location. So when we hit ready to fly, hit the Y key, notice it stops it in its place. F1 lowers it down to the ground. If you get to the ground and the wheels are not on the ground like they are now, if you move your number pad keys 8, 2, 4, and 6, you can move the aircraft around until it actually touches the ground, because if it doesn't touch the ground and you take slew off, the aircraft will take off in the air. But because I'm on the ground, it should stay on the ground. I took the slew off. I'm going to put the brakes on. Brakes are on. We're going to go here. We're going to click File. We're going to click New Project. We're going to change the directory as to where the project resides, because when I create content, I've created a fair amount of content, and you can see this is my content directory. And this is not for any other purpose but for you to understand the method in which I use. So there's Canada, Indonesia, Jordan, and US and Russia and New Zealand, and you name it, I've got a lot of it. So I go into Canada because we are creating this in Northwest Territories, which is a part of Canada. Northwest Territories, I'm going to build a package here. Previously, we used to use a samples from the samples directory. We would create the folder here, and we would place that all those sample files in, and then we'd have to edit those sample files accordingly. We don't have to do that anymore. So long as we now say select to Northwest Territories, we click select folder. We're now going to build inside that folder. I'm going to create the ICO code. I'm going to use the ICO code for the project name. So that's CEB3. When I do this, it is creating that folder in that directory, in the Northwest Territories directory. So I hit create, and if I were to look here, and I were to go back into Canada, and I were to go to there, right there is the folder in which it created. It didn't do anything other than the initial XML file. Later on, that's going to be populated with all of the information that it needs. So we'll get out of that. We'll get back to here. We're going to click on package, next, airport. Here we're going to give it a title. I titled mine with the ICA code, space, the name of the airstrip in which I'm going to be creating. If this was a scenery package, then it would be something like the city, and then it would be, you know, blank blank or blah 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 arena. Let's just say if I was creating an arena, okay, the name of the arena, let's say, as an example. So next, here is where we can override an existing one, and we know that it has an ICA code already, so we could, in theory, we could click on this. This window would come up, and we would type in CEB3, and we see there's no ICO codes with 3, but if I go here, you can see there's a whole bunch of different ones within that combination, but not the one we want. So now we know that ICO code is available to us. We click on create an airport anywhere. We hit generate new ICA code, double click in there, and we type in CEB3. The name of the airport is just that. It's the name of the airport. Okay. These numbers here, we collect that information for right here. Now, there's other places to get that information, but this is where I get it from. You can get it through Little Nav Map and that kind of stuff. The interesting thing about Little Nav Map versus this is this will give you it in decimal. In Little Nav Map, it will give it to you in degrees. And the SDK wants it in decimal. So when we go back to here, you can see it wants it in decimal form. Oops. Copy. Paste. Now, the other one also had a negative sign to it. So, east of the meridian, I think it's called, west of the meridian is considered to be negative. East of the meridian is considered, and I think I'm saying it right, meridian, is considered to be positive. Okay, so it's important for you to know that when you put this in. If you didn't have the negative here, this location actually lands you in Russia somewhere without the negative. Okay, so the altitude, I know that the altitude is 259 meters. I assume meters is the accurate way of putting it in here, because when I change it and go by feet, it isn't right. So meters is, and you'll see in other places it's asking for meters. Right. Create the airport. We are now in the airport. Now we're going to put the placeholder into place. Okay, and I'm going to show you how to do that. So we click the placeholder. In the package that we created, which is here under package definitions, that's the name of the airport, contact info. If you created a JPEG and put it into here, your own personal one, you could select that. I don't do it because I haven't seen where that is relevant, other than in the SDK itself. When you reopen up the SDK, you can see your image that you put in. So anyways, that's I'm gonna just leave it at that. I'm not gonna spend too much time on that. The next thing is you can create that, but you have to create it using 412 by 170. That's the mandatory image size. You can't use any bigger or any smaller. That's the size it has to be. All right, so our next step is we're going to go here. We're going to click on scenery. You notice the inspector window has changed. We're going to click on load in editor, and now we are loaded within the editor. And if you notice, there's some blue lines here kind of off in the distance. That is the radius in which the airport is going to be built inside of. It's a very large radius. If I press on the number keys, on the numpad number 2, post the camera view down. I'm going to scroll it up, and you can see I'm going to scroll this out a fair ways, and there is the 2,000 meter radius. It's default. If we click on properties, you can see it's right there at 2,000 feet. I'm going to change that to 750 because I just don't need that big of an area. Really could be 500, but we're going to change it to 750. We're going to flatten, and we're going to use star. Now, star is indicated on the map when you're looking around in the map where you want to pick an airport. You'll see there's a little star located there. I usually put stars on my airports because that helps me to find them. If it's a small little airport and you're zoomed quite a ways out, you'll just see this white teeny little dot and you won't know that's where it is. But in this case, you'll see a star there and you'll know that's the one you created. You can go ahead and fill this information in, such as in this case Canada. Oops, let's not spell it wrong. Being a Canadian, I should probably spell it right. State, I'm not going to put it in there. I am going to put this in there because that is kind of the village name. I'll put the state in too, just because I can. I'm a big fan of copy paste. In this case, it's not a state; it's a territory. But neither here nor there. So that's fairly accurate. That's what we want to have in here. Now, let us continue now building this airstrip. Okay. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to go into objects. We're going to click on this. We're going to go and look for the polygon. We're going to click add. And we see that we have this little red plus sign attached to our cursor. Holding the control key down, click. Holding the control key down each time you click. And then on the final one, double click with the control key down. That finishes it. There's our polygon up there. I'm going to go to the properties window of that polygon. We are going to look at the vegetation. We're going to, you notice how you see all of the trees got populated in there, and that's because the vegetation scale is set to 0.33. I can make that more dense and so forth, or I can make it less dense, and you can see it's slowly going away. In this case, I'm going to turn it all off because I don't want any trees there. Another thing I could do is I could exclude any roadways that are within that area. I could exclude any buildings, all buildings, or any particular buildings. We don't have any buildings in that area, so we're not going to do any of that. Okay? Now, we're going to create a runway. Object. We're going to click on runway. This runway, I'm going to have it at a heading of 134, so I click on 13. I click add, that runway gets put. I'm going to move it over here. I'm going to go to properties. I'm going to go to configuration. I'm going to change the direction, 134, so that's what I said. I'm going to change the length of it, which is 680, and keep in mind this is in meters. I'm going to change the width of the runway to 25 meters. But I'm also going to change the material. Right now, it's asphalt. So if I come down over here, this is my material editor. I'm going to double click in here. I'm going to type in gravel. I'm going to click on bitmap preview. And now I can see the first image is a close proximity of what it's supposed to look like. I don't understand that blue one. I don't understand why it shows two images. Maybe somebody can explain that to me one day. But this is the one that I want. Actually, I'm going to change it. I'm going to use this one right here. That's the one that I want. So drag it, and I place it over top of the runway material. I let go. It changes the surface. So now we're going to look at the runway. There's many different features and options in here in which you can modify, but this isn't about that. This is just about the basics. So you notice how when you start at an airport, you can start on a runway, or you can start on a parking spot. I'm going to show you how to create both. and that they're correctly set up. Edit the position. This is the primary start position. You notice this little graphic show up. I'll drag that up over here to Summers at the head of the runway. Summers over there. I'm going to scroll in a little bit. The WASD are the buttons that allow you to move the camera view around. So we're going to put that a little closer into the center here. You see the runway is now, or it's pointing this way. This is the way the aircraft will be facing. I noticed that here it's 135. I want it to be 134. Okay, that's good. Next, we're going to do the secondary, which is the other end, of course. We're going to drag that down here somewhere. We're going to go in here, and we're going to place that in the approximate center. Also, you'll notice that it's -45. It actually should be -46. That's the reciprocal, and there it is. We take that check mark off. Now we have those positioned correctly. Notice how our runway is kind of impeding this road. And here we got lots of room. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to move that up and maybe over just a tad. So there it is. I could likewise move this polygon as well. I'm not going to. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to build an apron here. Kind of in here like this, that this road kind of leads into this so-called little road and then onto this apron. So we're going to go objects. We're going to click on here. We're going to click on apron. We're going to click on default. We're going to click on add, and we now have on our cursor this little red dot. Same function, control key, click, 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 click. And over here what I'm going to do is I'm going to kind of build a bit of a curve in this. So click, 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 and I'm going to finalize with a double. There it is. Notice the apron is material. Oops, there. No, have I got that? There we go. I got it now. Material is the surface is concrete. We're going to change that. We're going to use the same as we used for the runway, and we're just going to put that in there. There we go. We're going to put, our next object is, we're going to put a windsock. We're going to put 2 of them in. We're going to put one click placing because I want to put 2. So I'm going to put one there. And I'll put one there somewhere. Okay. Next, we're going to create some parking pads. And so we're going to remove one click placing. We're going to click on here and we're going to click on taxiway parking. We're going to use GA. Yes, we're going to use GA. And we're going to click on one place. And we're going to put 3 of them in here. One there. One there. We're going to edit those parking spots. We're going to double click. Oops, I didn't take the check mark out. Take the check mark out. We're going to get rid of that one because that one doesn't mean to be there. If I highlight it and hit the delete key, that deletes it. So now we're going to edit that one. We're going to call that one a small. We're going to call that 10 meters. We're going to call that parking. We're going to call that parking spot number 1. Okay. We're going to, oops. Now we're also going to change and rotate this. So we go to the gizmo, we hit rotate, and we grab this little green line and we can rotate that until it kind of puts it in the position that we want it. We look over here, 119, so it's -119. We're going to now use that for all of them. Back to properties, click on this one. And again, small, -119, 10 meters, parking, 2. Next one, and final one, small, -119, 10, parking, and 3. That's it. We've got the parking spots in. We're going to put a couple of houses or a couple of buildings here just so you can see how that functions, and then we're going to wrap it up. objects. Oh, one other thing we're going to add is we're going to put a plane in here, just a default plane in here. And we're going to do that with, I think it's under objects. I get these mixed up, but we'll click on all, we'll type in 172, and there they are. We're going to click this one click place. We're going to put that aircraft right there. Okay, remove the one click place. We're going to change this to scenery, because now we're going to put a hangar in here. So we type in hangar. These are all what you're seeing. These are all, like, this is a Denver hangar. So if I were to click on this Denver hangar and click one place, click, it's representing that hangar, which is apparently found at the Denver airport. We're not going to use that one. We're going to go down here and we're going to use that one. And we're going to place that there. And we're going to come way down here and we're going to place another one here and another, just one. That's what we're going to do. Take the one place out. This time we're going to click on it. We're going to go to Gizmo, rotate, and similar as we did the last time, we're going to kind of rotate this to an angle in which we want, which is going to be 134. I'm going to match the angle or the heading of the runway, right? So 134, it's close. There it is. Now I can make this, which I'm going to, bigger. So I just double click on it until I can get it. I'm going to put that out there somewhere. Then I'm going to come here, click on this building, and I'll move that building over. Then I'm going to go here, double click on it till I get there, 134, which kind of matches the heading of the runway. And quite honestly, I think that's good for me. I like it the way it is. So we are now kind of done. I get these yellow things in here. Why they show up, I'm not sure. They say they're warnings. There is something there, and it says parking not linked to main graft. I'm not sure what that means. I've been kind of struggling to kind of understand what that means, but anybody who knows what that means, go ahead and let me know so that I can get that corrected, and it no longer does just that. But the parking spots will be here when we're done. So we go to project editor. Sorry, we stay in scenery editor. We hit save the scenery. We've now saved it. Now we go to project editor and we hit build all, and we say yes. It's now going to build the package, and it's going to put all of the necessary information into that given folder that we created. I see there's 3 warnings. There's 0 errors. It's always been my opinion this is the most important line, but recently I've noticed that these 3 errors are warnings. You can correct them. Okay, so there's one right there. So what we do with that is, if I run it again, for some reason or other, it seems to correct those warning messages. I don't know why. I don't know what causes those warning messages to be there in the first place, but you see now there's a 0 warning, 0 errors. Okay? So that's the way to do that. It's always been, as long as you get no errors down at that bottom of that area where it says X number of finished and updated and so on and so forth. As long as that doesn't say there's errors in there, it's always been that it's been working. But I've noticed that that's one way to get rid of those warning messages too. Right. We now need to get out of the project editor and close it all down. So we do that, we hit this, we get out of the developer camera. I'm going to catch up with you once we're back to the desktop and show you how to package the package and get that into your sim. Okay. And while I'm actually restarting everything. So we're going to restart the sim. Right, here we are. We're going to go to that screen. So we can see there's the package right there. We go in there. Now it's all completed. We go into the packages. That's the file we need to put into the simulator. We can right click on that. I'm on Windows 11, so I have this compressed to zip. There it is. I use this application called Package Manager. It's a free download from flightsim.to. I can click on install, go here, click browse and browse to that directory, or I can grab this, drag it, and drop it in. So browse, there, Canada, Northwest Territories, the ICA code, packages, and there's the file. Hit open, install. It should install. It is installed. Now we will go back to the simulator, and I will catch up with you once it's loaded and ready to go. So here we are in the sim, ready to test out our newly created airport that's been put in there. So we click on the map. We can now click on here. We should be able to, it's there, but we should be able to type in CEB3 and it should show. I'm not sure why that is in the part of the name, but I may have accidentally copied that as well. Anyways, there's the airport, the airstrip. There's the 3 parking spots. We're going to park in the center one, but we could spawn in on that runway. We could spawn in on that runway. That's 1-3, and that's obviously 3-1. So let's spawn in, and we'll give you a quick rundown of this, and then when we're done, this is how you would create, or this is how you could create a simple airport in 2020. So we'll let it do what it does. I just want to go over and show you. While this is loading, I encourage those to like, comment, subscribe, so forth. You see here, there's video. There's all of the bits that we put in, the windsocks, the 2 buildings. We're going to hit start. And we can look around here. We can see this is the 2 buildings. There's a windsock there. If we were to click on live weather, lifetime live weather, we're going to see this kind of update here shortly, and the windsocks should be working. I have no idea what the weather is out here in the Northwest Territories, but there's the aircraft that we put in. We've got some workers here you can add, and you can customize this to the nth degree if you like. Right, my name is Raymond. This is Stream Gamers. This is an updated SDK tutorial on how to create a simple airport using 2 primary tools, which is rairports.com and little Nav Map. I would appreciate the like and comment and subscribe. Comment, let me know what you like, what you don't like. If there's anything you want to add to this that I've missed, put it in there. In the meantime, I'm going to say thank you. I do apologize for not putting out more content, but I had a little hiatus, and here we are. So you guys enjoy it, and I look forward to hearing comments and so forth, what I should do next. All right, bye-bye now.